to a real fight wasn't right. Where can she dream here?
Hello, everyone. It's Zach Clayton, Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the pACT channels. How you doing today? Sorry, I was about a minute late, but I was about a minute late. Anyway, hey, 22-hour podcast was fantastic. Look, every year prior to this year, I've had to spend approximately 2.5, maybe even 3 hours filling your ear canals with my BS, just trying to sit there and come up with word salad and do stuff to fill the time. From beginning to end this time, that didn't happen. We had guests that were engaged, and not that we didn't have engaged guests other years, but this time we had full slots. We even had guests who joined us from that day. And it was amazing to me, some of the stories that we heard, the heart, the love. And here's the deal, okay? And I really want to make this point very, very strong. There's not two of us that are alike that met that day. We have certain things that we were alike, but there's not two of us that believed the same things, that did the same things. But we all agreed on one thing, that we've got to do better for each other, for our veterans. I ended every hour last Thursday thinking to myself, except for the first hour, and that had nothing to do with Sean Winnington. Usually I want to get rid of him as quickly as possible, but this year that wasn't his fault. It wasn't Sean's fault. Actually, I owe Sean a great gratitude because he helped me out. First hour and a half of the show, we had no internet, and I had to try to do it from my iPhone. And, I am that guy that, hey, how come there's a thumb in my picture? Well, because your thumb's on the camera, you dork. That's me. That is me. But Sean, the Rev, jumped in and took over. He knew, he's been here. He's been with me, my first guest, for the entire 3 years. And, he did something which is a little out of the norm for me, because I am not a religious person. But he prayed. He gave us 2 prayers that wished us luck. And it worked, because, folks, we had a great show. From that hour and a half minute when I finally got the internet working until the very last moments when I shut it down. We learned so much, and it gave us somewhere to stand. And that is so important, because we all agree that there's a problem. We all have our ideas on what that problem is. Now, if we can just come together and we can work on grounds, work on things that we can do together to bridge those gaps, maybe we have a chance to save that life. That first life is so important for us to do this too. That first life means everything. Because we can't save the second and the third and the fourth and the fifth and the 97th and the 47th that hour until we save that first one. But we got to have somewhere to start. I think a couple of the things that we're really, really brought up, and I think it was a very, very unified thought that we need to communicate. We need to communicate better. We need to be able to tell one another, no matter what our differences there are, no matter what the problems are, whatever it is, we need to be able to stand up and look at each other and constructively and without the vitriol and BS that we're throwing at each other right now. We need to be able to stand there and tell each other, hey, we got a problem. Can we work this out? And if the goal is happiness, then we should be able to do that, right? So coming up on tonight's show, we've got a lady who unfortunately was unable to join us on the 22-hour podcast. She was slated to come on, but she did have a family emergency and she was unable to join us. Everything is a little bit better, but you know the way it is. Families first. That's always the way it goes. Carla Lemon is going to be joining us. And then I've got a very, very special announcement with a really, really good friend of mine, Jeff Pearson from Hydro with Hope. March is a very special month for a lot of people in the United States, and there's a specific reason why, and we will tell you about it right at about the top of the hour. Jeff is going to be joining us, and we're going to be talking about some things that we're going to do throughout the month of March. We're not going to be doing another 22-hour podcast in March. Well, Jeff might. I don't know. Jeff, hey, if Jeff wants to do it, go for it, buddy. I'm not going to. I got another year before I'm going to do that ridiculousness again. But I would like to say the same thing that I've said over and over and over and over again. I asked everybody to dedicate at least 22 minutes to watching a story. And there were hundreds of you that did that. Thank you. That proves that you care. That proves that you see the problem. That proves that we have hope. Let's work on doing this every year. Let's make this go bigger and better every year. Let's make sure that, look, I tell people all the time, Sturgis at one point in time was just a couple of guys getting together to go for a motorcycle ride. The Colosseum in Rome at one point in time was a dirt field where people just beat each other up. We got to slow walk our way to things, but we can do it, and we are doing fantastic. If you look behind me, I have things that are here that you can have. I'm begging you, as a matter of fact, come get them. If you go to the QR code, you will find a Give Butter link. Go to there and bid on these, okay? Bid on everything. Bid on whatever you can. Yes, there are minimum bids because, like the Yeti, it's a value of $269 for a cooler. Huge cooler. You can put bottles of wine, 2-liter bottles of soda, whatever you want in it. One of the best coolers you can buy. The Megadeth beer is not included. That's my beer. You can't have my beer. You wouldn't want that beer anyway. I've said this a couple of times. That beer is like 9, 10 years old. You wouldn't want that beer, okay? It's a collector item. I wouldn't want that beer. I don't think it's like a stout. And when I used to drink, I drank Coors Light. I don't think I can handle that. But we got books from a dear friend, Sabrina Morris. Sean Whittington. We got the backpack tool bag, Dr. Joy Pugh, the pots and pans. Terry is going to give you a. The dog freaked out when I said Terry's name. They always say my house is haunted. I don't know, Terry, if that's a good thing or not. But Terry's offered a reading of some kind. My wife is going to do some projects for you. We've got hockey tickets by the Colorado Grit, who are going to give you 4 back seats. And if you bid on those seats, tell me where you want them to go. Do you want them to go to the Veteran Center in Weld County? I'll take them, and they can give them to 4 vets in your name. These 4 vets will get to go and watch some hockey. Why not? You want them to go to the Boys and Girls Club? I'll take them to the Boys and Girls Club. If you can't make it, you want to give them to a fat guy who does weird things like 22-hour podcasts, who has an affinity for hockey, you can do that too. I'm pretty sure I can find one of those guys. I know I can find one. I know exactly who he is. What are you barking at, loudmouth? But we've also got a coaching session, a $600 value coaching session with Dr. Joe, and for personal coaching. For my card, a $100 wine certificate for someone here in Colorado. We've got a tattoo session, $100 tattoo session. We've got things for auction, and we need your help. Janet, I would gladly auction off the dog, but I would get in trouble. And besides that, you would bring him back. That dog can clear out a room. He's got issues there. So Janet was one of our guests with Healing Warriors in Fort Collins, and her and Bart at one of my seriously, we had so much fun in that hour, just learning about things that we always talk about anyway. But having a great discussion about the VA, because there was a lot of VA bashing. I'm not going to be joking. I'm not going to lie about it. There was a lot of VA bashing. There's a lot of things that can improve. But Healing Warriors works with the VA to try to make sure that there's something there. So if there's an emergency, we're not telling somebody, well, it's going to take 6 months to get to you. We can try to get to them immediately. So look, again, we started dialogue. Let's not stop that dialogue. My buddy, my friend, Publio Casillas, is going through a very, very difficult time right now. I ask you all to please keep him in your thoughts. This was his day that we took and we brought on veteran nonprofits with veteran business owners or businesses around veterans. We're going to keep this up while Publio gets everything worked out. And again, brother, all my love, if I can do anything to help, please let me know. We're going to keep that up. We're going to keep this as an extension to the 22-hour community mission to serve our veterans. That's what the 4th Wednesday of every month is going to be. If you know a veteran business owner, if you know a veteran nonprofit that would like to come on and join us, all they have to do is get a hold of me. We will have them on. That 122-hour show, where it used to be a show where there was extra time, there was no time left. We had a lot of people who didn't get to speak like they should have been able to speak. We're going to make sure that they get heard. And that's what the 4th Wednesday of every month is going to be. So we welcome you to the first edition of the new format, which is the old format, but it's new. So the old new format, I guess that kind of works. So, and Carla Lemon was one of the guests that was scheduled to appear, but again, there was an issue, and she could not make it. So she is joining us tonight. Uh, Her organization is Vet Care Inc. Let me try this again in English because that's the language I supposedly speak. Vet Cares Inc. Wonderful story, wonderful program, and I think that you guys will all love this. If you need any more information, we are building a roster page so you can get a hold of any guest that we had, including our great friend Carla Lemon. Here we go.
So last Thursday was such a great day. We got to hear all kinds of stories. We got to meet all kinds of great people. And unfortunately, some people we weren't able to meet. Carla, you were unable to join us because of an issue. We're glad to have you with us now because I think that your program is important in so many ways. And I think that one of the things that you guys do, and I'm going to ask you to give us the whole background of your organization here in a minute, but I love one of the things that you do is you work with other nonprofits, right?
We do have a sister nonprofit that we work closely with, and they help support us and move us forward as well. And then in one of our grants, we do occasionally work side by side in our grant process to assist veterans with further healing.
So tell us a little bit about, we are being joined by Carla Lemon. And this is a continuation, once again, of community mission to serve our veterans. Carla, please tell us about Vet Cares.
Well, thank you, Zach, for helping us get the information out about Vet Cares. We really do appreciate that. Vet Cares was sprung out of a sister nonprofit that is called USA Homeownership Foundation, Inc., DBA VA Rep. USA Homeownership Foundation, Inc. was formed by a Navy veteran and who was actually in the real estate industry. And there was a lot of discrimination against the VA loan in the marketplace. And he wanted to do something about that and change that and dispel the myths about the VA loan benefit that was earned by everyone that served. And to ensure that their success in home ownership would increase and that we could change the industry to embrace that instead of push it away. So they start out with education programs, and VA Rep is Veterans Association of Real Estate Professionals, and that is chapters that are launched across the country, and each chapter holds a board of directors, and those board of directors are volunteers from the real estate industry, the lending industry, the housing industry. So they volunteer their time and they operate those chapters across the country. Mostly it's education. The chapters educate, they have membership meetings, they grow their memberships. They also give back to the local veteran community with the monies they raise. So they hold fundraisers, education, nourishment through membership, as well as giving back. And USA Homeownership Foundation, Inc., as well as VA Rep and Vet Cares, all with the same founder, Son Nguyen. And his main goal was to ensure that we are able to provide long-term sustainability for veterans, not just give them a handout. We want to provide a hand up alongside with education and ensuring that they are successful at whatever direction they're headed. So that came out of homeownership initially, and then it spilled over, and we launched vetcares.org this is our third year in actual full operation. And the goal was to have a nonprofit that is purely philanthropic, not related to any industry, but just purely we want to give back, we want to help, we want to provide long-term sustainability solutions for veterans to be able to have a better quality of life and to keep moving forward in their transition from their service.
You guys, I'm looking at your website, and I want to share this website with everyone right now. One of the things that really excites me about your website is that this is your about page, and one of the things that I love right here are the word patriot under some of the names, including yours as executive director and co-founder. I myself am also a patriot, and we made sure that everybody knows that, look, I didn't serve, but I do this because I really care about, Alvin and Gil and Son, what they did, and by raising the right hand and giving up their time. Was that really important when you guys were putting the structure of the company together to make sure that people understand that, you know what, I'm a patriot. I'm not on the same level as you veterans, but we're here because of you?
Yes, it was really important to combine both. And that comes out of the fact that most patriots who are serving, including myself, have family members who have served. Absolutely. So we're touched by the sacrifice. Though we didn't sacrifice in our service, we understand a certain element of that because someone, a friend or a family member that we know, did put up a sacrifice. So we know what that looks like. We understand the impact on the individual, the family, the friends, and how that impacts each person that the veteran knows or comes into contact with or impacts their families. So there are so many people, if you talk to them, most people will have a family member who has served at some point. Mm-hmm. And they really care about that commitment that was made and all the sacrifices that came along with that. So they have a true desire to give back to those individuals. And it's interesting because when I think of sacrifice, I think a lot of people think sacrifice means serving in wartime and that is a huge sacrifice. That's the largest, and giving of your life and stepping up and saying, yes, I will give my life for you. And that's the biggest sacrifice. Though I think what the other things that are missed are that there is more sacrifice, maybe not, it's not the same level, but even the individuals who have served, who have not seen wartime. For example, I know 2 young men who served. They're both brothers, and they serve. I think they're now coming up on their 30s, and one was served in the Air Force and has hearing problems from being around the planes and constantly being exposed to everything that goes on with the different posts that you're at or the way you're serving. There are medical issues that come with just serving for most, not all, but there are different levels that they have to deal with throughout the rest of their life. And so they have sacrificed in a different way. And then it's a matter of, okay, what does that look like when you're young and you get out and now you have these medical issues? the VA supports you as much as they can, right? The VA is a large, it's a large ship moving through a small canal. It's slow going, and they do everything they possibly can, right? Given how large this is, but it's not enough. No. And so it takes all of the nonprofit organizations, it takes all the volunteers, it takes everyone, all the patriots who want to serve. It takes the entire country to be able to help assist them to transition and move through that, and know what does that look like for the rest of your life, and what are other resources for you to be able to help you maybe heal faster, or get there sooner, or have a better understanding, or give you education. So I think that for us anyway, the patriots that serve, that's where it's coming from. It's coming from the heart of truly appreciating all the sacrifices for every single veteran, no matter what level it might be, and being able to do what they feel in their heart is best to give back.
I absolutely love that you brought up that, a lot of people think that sacrifice means that they went and they served. I would like to remind people that every time that they raise their right hands and they give that oath to the Constitution, the oath to the United States, what they're doing is they're telling commanding officers, they're telling our government that, you know what, we may not be in war today, but if we're in war tomorrow, I'm potentially giving up my life for you.
Yep.
Even if they don't see conflict, there's still birthday parties missed. There's still friends that are missed, and parties, and all these things that we, as 18-year-old kids, we didn't sacrifice. We were there. We lived that our young lives. These boys and girls, a lot of time, they forgo that to go and serve our country, and they do. They put up their right hand and they said, you know what? I just wrote a blank check. Cash it however you need me to cash it.
Right.
Mold me, send me, I'm yours. So you're absolutely right that sacrifices everyone who raises their hand, and we do owe a great debt to them for doing this, because even during peace, if we didn't have such a strong group of women and men in uniform, things could be a lot different for us. So and you guys, you all have a camp coming up. Please tell me about this camp.
Yeah, so Vet Cares, one of our programs is called Camp Cares. Camp Cares was born out of the concept of healing. It was also born out of our Stop, Drop, Push campaign grant that we have to help prevent suicide awareness. To help prevent suicide and bring awareness to suicide prevention. And that is through alternative therapies. The VA does everything they possibly can, and they're getting better, and they're recognizing alternative therapies. So Camp Cares was born out of the desire to want to take alternative therapy to the next level. And it is known that the outdoors helps heal people. It calms. It's a different focus. It takes them away from home. It takes them away from the stresses of life into an area that maybe they've never been before, in a serene surrounding that provides a place for them to put their armor down and to be honest and vulnerable, so that they can work on leaving the past in the past and moving forward. We have 2 camps this year. We've held 2 camps the last 2 years. Our first one was held in 2022. And then last year, 2023, both of those were, the first one was our jumping off stage and getting the program dialed in. Last year, the program was 100% improved, successful in the transition. And now we've got a solid program that really changes lives. So far we've helped 7 veterans. This year, our goal is to help 16. So we've more than doubled what we've done in the last 2 years. That means we have outgrown our the campsite that has been donated to us the last 2 years. So with more veterans means more money needed. So the lodging costs have gone up. We have flights that we have to pay for and cover. We have more costs in food, more costs in the guides and the professional coaches that we hire to be there and be present and support. It takes a great support system in order to make all this happen. So the camp is designed to, when they first show up, we immerse them right away into activities and get them focused on the events at hand, and then also breaking down their past experiences with their brothers and sisters that they're sharing their time with, and making sure that we understand, the coaches understand, where are you vulnerable? Where do you need to grow? How do we get you there? And so immediately it starts with storytelling and journaling and truth telling, and really being vulnerable in front of people you don't really even know, and getting to know your other brothers and sisters that you're sharing in the camp with. The first day we take them on an e-bike ride. Most of them have not been on e-bikes, so there's your first challenge. And you have to get past that, oh, I don't know how to do this. I don't know if I can do this. I don't know how this works. So we put them in situations they've never been in before, and get them to open their minds to trying something new, and that they are capable. And we find different ways around it. If they have some challenge, whatever their challenges are, we work with those and we make it successful. The second day is focused on learning how to fly fish. So we have a wonderful spot. There's a lodge in the area that they allow us to use their pond, and we hire fly fishing guides that are to the area and know what they're doing. We have great fly fishing guides that we are with us, and they really want to be a part of this. They've begged us to keep them in this program. They love working with the veterans and helping them see them grow. So we teach them how to cast, which is a challenge in and of itself.
Yes.
If you've ever tried to fly fish, it's casting is the critical part to learn. And so they have to open to receive information. They have to open to learn something new. And that then opens life lessons and discussions later on. So with each event, they journal about what held them back. How did they overcome that? How did they move forward? What do they need to do to improve? So it's about opening the mind and facing the reality of, what do you believe are your limitations that really aren't your limitations, but are possibilities? So that we do these mind shifts with them throughout the camp. And so then they fish, we feed them, they get to fish some more. And when they catch their first fish, it's very exciting. You know, they're like, oh my gosh, this is really amazing. It actually works. You know, I can actually cast and I can actually get on a fish. And so once they get the feel of that, the next 2 days are spent on either the Yellowstone River or the Madison River in Montana. So really beautiful, but not without life lessons. So one of the, if you've ever fly fished and you cast, when you learn to cast, you have to learn how to pause on the back cast. You have to let the energy unload in the back cast before you can come forward. So one of the veterans last year, one of the things that he captured was that, and he had some challenges with communication and frustration and anger. And so he learned just from casting that he needs to learn to pause. And that's what you do on the back cast. You learn to pause before you can move forward to make a successful forward cast. So there's a lot of life lessons that are connected through the fly fishing experience, through the e-bike rides, being outdoors, where they can actually focus on the actual event, learn the event, and then put that into life. And so then we spend time, the coaches spend time breaking down where their challenges are. And then we give them tools on how to think about it differently. How are you going to move forward? How are you going to apply this when you get home? What does that look like? So the campus design, we spend 10 days first in the beginning with them through different types of chat groups. And they have certain exercises they have to do every day. And it's very disciplined, and they have to meet the goals every day and journal and read the material and then share. And then at the camp, it's we bring all that together, everything they've shared, we address it. They really have to let their armor down. If they're not willing to do that, they're not ready to go to the camp. So the people that are chosen are the ones who really are ready for change. They want to embrace it. They want to do the work. And then we run through the camp, and at the last day, we set goals for them. What are some of the goals that you would like to achieve in the next 45 days? So when they leave, they have some things to address. And then we stay with them for 45 days after that. And we check in. Where are you on your goals? What do you need? Where are you stuck? Remember, let's use this tool. So that when they get home, they're not alone. It's not just, oh, I went on this trip and now, okay, I'm home. Now what? So we stay with them and we transition. And some of the things have come out of it. Some of the goals were, some of the veterans were struggling in their marriages, trying to not really communicating, kind of disengaged from their families. And when they go back home, they find ways to engage. They've come up with this last group decided they were going to write Post-it notes every morning to their kids and put it on their bed frames before they get up, or give a Post-it note to their wife every day, and then go on scheduled date nights and then schedule time with their kids. And they've all done that. The ones who that was their goals, they are different when they leave. It's so fascinating to watch them come in, and then when they leave, they're different men. And so it's very successful program. It's hard to explain the process unless you go through it.
Oh, yeah.
But it's making sure that they know the tools they can use and keeping the guardrails when they leave. Here's your guardrails that will keep you on your path, on your new path, and on your new journey to a better quality of life, and leave the past behind. And so we give them permission to leave the past behind. There's a process. We take them through that in order to make that happen. And it's a lot of truth telling. It's a lot of looking in the mirror. What do you see? And that it's okay to leave the past, so they just get to go through this process on their own at their own time frame, but within a very structured events that help them arrive by the time they depart.
You guys have, in the overview, it says our program focuses areas include suicide prevention, education, alternative therapies, GAP grants, home buyer closing cost grants, emergency financial assistance. And this is where it really struck me. And this is something that we unfortunately do not talk too much about. During the 22-hour podcast, we had a veteran, Timothy Mabry, who experienced this kind of trauma, military sexual trauma, and domestic violence. how difficult, Carla, is it to get somebody to come in and trust you? Because you were talking about something where you were talking about dropping your guard in ways that us as civilians, I'm not sure how we would do it. But I mean, you're asking men and women who were trained to be weapons to drop your guard. Let's talk about this. Let's get rid of it. Leave it behind. How difficult is that?
Well, it's our program works the way it's structured. It works really well. Now, again, they have to be ready for it. They have to want it, right? So we do a lot of vetting in the beginning to see is that candidate really ready? Now, it's about education. It's about the biggest and clearest item that provides for the success is that they are veterans together. Shared past experiences are what allows those veterans to trust in each other, because they understand what each person's commitment was. They understand their experience might not be exactly the same, but what their commitment was to each other and to their experiences is the same. So there's a trust element that is present, as well as at least one or two of the coaches will be veterans. And that's the other element that is critical so that they know whoever they're trusting in the coaching has the same experience, and that they learn pretty quickly. We have their six. There's no question about that, and that there is no judgment, and that they're in a safe place to be vulnerable and uncomfortable. If you can't provide that environment, it's not going to happen. There has to be no judgment and just open conversation to be able to get them there. And that is only possible peer-to-peer. And when it comes to our trauma grants, it was very important to the founder to make sure we included these, and these are brand new for this year. This will be the first time we're offering them, but he's I think if you've served, you know someone who's been through all this kind of trauma, and it is not talked about, and it's forgotten, and it is a different type of trauma. It's from within, and the trust is very difficult. So we are not experts in that area. And therefore, the grant is designed as gap funding to help support those kind of traumas and help get them to the expert help they need. And our Stop, Drop, Push grant is the same. It is a gap funding grant to help veterans get to alternative therapies. And so both of those grants are designed the same way. Our Camp Cares is a very successful program, and it is alternative therapy. However, it's not a perfect fit for everyone. And so Stop, Drop, Push grant is designed to help veterans get to a specific alternative therapy that is the perfect fit for them, to be able to heal in the best possible way for them, and to be able to cross a threshold that they haven't yet. So that's what the Stop, Drop, Push grant is for. And that's where we come into contact with other nonprofits. So a lot of alternative therapy programs are free. There's a lot of they're nonprofit organizations. They have very specific programs. They're designed, they're successful, but the veterans can't get there. They don't have the money to fly there. They don't have they sometimes they have to cover lodging when they get there. They just don't have it. So they can apply for a Stop Drop Push grant, and then we can help get them there. We vet the nonprofits to ensure that their programs are successful before we start the grant process. If they say, hey, I'm a veteran, here's my grant application, I want to attend this alternative therapy. And if we haven't already worked with them, we'll vet them to ensure that they are 501c3 and that they are really, we go through the program to ensure that it's a success for the veteran who really wants to go. So again, it's about long-term sustainability, and we want to make sure that we're making the best decisions to support that veteran in that long-term goal. And so that's where the founder wants to really ensure we don't offer handouts, because veterans don't want handouts.
No.
They just want help getting over this hump.
And one of the other mistakes that we have made in the past is that we've used the word help a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And the word help implies that there's something broken.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we switched to serve, because that's what our goal is to serve our veterans. We're not trying to help them. They're not broken. They have a need. We want to help inform them about other programs like what you guys are doing. And I think that this is a much better way to go at it. We're not looking at broken pieces. We're looking at a human being who just needs, as you stated, a hand up, a guide. They need guidance to somewhere. It's not like they need life-altering changes all of a sudden. Not all of them. We got to be really careful as people how we approach this. And I think your program is, I really think it's wonderful. And coming as far as you guys, coming from, starting right after the COVID area, it looks like you guys have worked really, really hard to get where you're at. So
it's been a challenge, but those are the best times to start. I think whenever it's the most challenging is when you grow the most, because we have a long way to go. We're just barely touching the surface. Right. Our USA Homeownership Foundation Inc. Sister company. So I started there. I volunteered with VA Rep for about 5 years, and then they offered me a position to manage the chapters as we grew and grew and grew. They needed someone, association director, to manage those. So I came on board, and so now I think this is with including Vet Cares, I think I've been a total of about 12 years with them. And USA Homeownership is really a great organization, because when we talk about education and success, we are USA Homeownership is a certified HUD counseling organization. So that means that we help, because it's HUD certified, we help everyone across the country. Our focus is veterans and service members. But you can call a counselor, a financial HUD counselor, and if you're in a bind and you have a goal, let's say you want to learn how to be a successful homeowner, you don't want to rent anymore, your credit's bad, you don't know where to start, this is a free service. And we, for example, we had one couple come out of the military. They really wanted to buy a home, and they found out, their credit scores were in the 500s. They had some debt, credit card debt. They didn't know where to start to pay off. And so they signed up, and they agreed to follow every direction of our financial counseling program. After 18 months, their credit scores were well over 700. They had paid off all their debt, and they had saved $18,000, and they were buying their first home. So we do all this for free. There's no reason to go pay someone to fix your credit, especially if you're a veteran or in the active serving. We can help you for free. And so that education and sustainability and success that we want for every veteran that comes our way is what's built into Vet Cares. So if we're not able to assist, we will give you resources to check into. This is a partnership with the veteran or service member that is calling us. This is a partnership. You're looking for information. You want a path forward. We will give you information to help you get there successfully. And so that's how this was all born, is we really want to partner with them. We want them to take the reins and drive that desire that they have and make that happen.
Yeah, there's nothing that's going to stick more in anyone's mind than when they get involved. And again, I love what you guys are accomplishing in such a short amount of time. We are partnered together. You guys have joined the Community Pay It Forward family, which means that anytime that you have a need, and if you shop with any of our partners, you can support Vet Cares. As you saw a couple of minutes ago, the QR code has been above Carla's head the entire show, but right here, shop, click, and pick. It's very simple. You shop with one of our partners, you click on the QR code right up there, just take your camera, click on that, take a picture of the receipt or the invoice, or email us the receipt if you choose so, and a portion of your purchase is going to go to support Vet Cares Inc. Very, very simple. We're not asking you to put any additional money in anybody's pocket. If you want to donate cash, you donate it directly to them. We don't deal with cash. We deal with a referral. That's it. We don't ask you to round up to the nearest dollar. None of that stuff. All we want you to do is shop with our great partners, because our great partners are going to support organizations like Vet Cares. This really is so neat, and I really appreciate your time, and I'm glad that we were able to get together. I was asking everybody one question, and I probably should have warned you this question because it takes people off guard. Carla, if I gave you a magic wand and that magic wand could get everybody in America to do one thing, what would that be?
Just serve others, serve our veterans, serve our active service members, and just support them. And whatever that looks like, if it's $2 a month, it doesn't have to be a major thing. Your dollars and your time are the most valuable way you can serve a nonprofit. And the dollar amount doesn't matter. It's priceless. And your time is priceless to be able to serve others in some way, form, or fashion. I think, especially in today's world where there's so many challenges in today's world, and I think gratitude goes further than anything else we can do to make a shift in the world. And serving others takes the focus off of us, and it fills our hearts, and it changes communities. It changes neighbors. It changes everything. So if it's either time or dollars, and just serve with that.
You know, one of the other ways that you can support organizations, and this one is very, very important. Look, organizations understand that money is tight right now. But one of the ways that you can definitely support some of these organizations is by making sure that there's not veterans falling through the cracks. You're telling these veterans about these organizations. So if you know somebody who's starting to fall through a crack or feeling left alone, telling them about Vet Cares helps them, okay? When they get utilized, they get opened up for other opportunities for financial assistance. Now, making sure that those veterans get in to get the help, though, that's the most important thing. So if you know of somebody who is in dire need of help, please make sure that you reach out and you tell them, hey, we're here. You know, we know about this program. Does this sound like what you would like? They could surprise you and it could really make a change in their life. So support.
That's a great point. That's a really great point. The other thing I'd like to add to that, and I appreciate you bringing it up, and that helps. That's a win-win across the board. But if you see a veteran that doesn't know what to do, they don't know which way to go, encourage them to get a caseworker at the VA. Just get any kind of help. The VA caseworkers, they know about us. They know about, we're on lists. Mm-hmm. And so you could also share our information, of course. And but if you see someone who truly needs help, please guide them to get a caseworker to help. They'll guide them in the direction that they most need.
Yeah. I think that last statement really proves what we've said since we started this program. This is not a you problem. This is not a me problem. This is a we problem. If we work together, we can stop losing some of these veterans. Okay? We have to work together, though. And for us to work together, we need to know about these great organizations like Vet Cares. So support Vet Cares, support what they're doing, find out more. And Carla, how do they get a hold of you to find out more?
They can either contact us through the website, vetcares.org, or email me, clemon@vetcares.org, or give us a call at 951-444-7361.
And you can also find them on communitypayitforward.us. You can go to their, they've got two places, which is the nonprofits and the heroes, both country and community. And if you click on their name now, it actually goes to their website, not someone else. So that's, got that fixed for you. But Carla, any last words, any last thing that you would like to get across to people?
Oh yeah, one more thing. The other way you can assist Vet Cares is we also take vehicle donations. Yes. Really easy process. You tax deduction from the sale amount. So that if you know anybody who's got a vehicle just laying around, it doesn't have to be a car, it could be a truck, it could be an RV, it could be a motorcycle, anything, please consider making a vehicle donation. We also accept real estate donations. Those are a huge plus. If somebody has an estate and you don't know what to do with it, there's no other direction, please donate it to help veterans. And the last thing I'd like to say is thank you, Zach, for reaching out to us and allowing us to be a partner with you so that we can support you at the same time you're supporting us. So thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
This is look, we are like-minded people trying to do something to support those who need our help. And this is an easy thing for me to do because you guys are able to do what you do, but you're only able to do that if we get the help that you need. So Carla, I want to thank you so much for joining us today. Once again, vetcares.org, or you can email her at clemon@vetcares.org. Once again, that's clemon@vetcares.org, 951-444. I did that right. 7361-951-444 7361. It's kind of funny when you have to put those numbers together like that. You're like going, did I put one extra 4 in there? Or, so 951-444-7361. Carla, thank you so very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
No problem. Once again, you can really help them out by visiting communitypayitforward.us, scan the QR code, make a purchase, and support great organizations like Vet Cares Inc.
That was, I get excited because we've got all these organizations that are kind of in the same vein. I know that Janet was joining us earlier, and I think it's neat to see that there's many differences there, but it's kind of one of those programs that we're starting to see these pop up all over the place. Well, they're up north, they're in Montana. It's still neat to be able to see what they're doing, and then have businesses that are working for veterans that can kind of live off or learn from each other, not live off one another, but I mean, learn from each other and implement some of the things that each and every one of them do. This is getting good. Again, the 22-hour thing, and I don't want to make it bigger than it was because it's not yet. We're working on it. It's not there yet, but getting organizations like these organizations that we had, all of them, getting them to come on and tell us their story and tell us about who they are and what they do and what their dreams are and who they want to help and how they're going to help. That's so important for nonprofits. And we're about ready to talk to another nonprofit that, he's got huge aspirations, and these aspirations are absolutely reachable. And all we have to do is work together. Once again, you can reach out to them through their QR code. Let me put it up here one more time. Their QR code is right up there in the corner. You can get a hold of them, reach out to them, and support them. Wonderful, wonderful group. Thank you so much. I loved it, and it was great to meet you. Now, we got the silent auction back up here. Please go on, bid. We need to make money for these organizations, please. We did have an unfortunate incident where we had 2 of the Buffalo Wild Wings drop off right at the last minute. We still got help from the Greeley Buffalo Wild Wings, but that was quite a financial hit, and we're not doing so well on the silent auction. Folks, please help us out. We're trying to raise money for 9 different organizations all over the country. We're not just doing this for Northern Colorado. We're trying to make this everywhere in the country. We want this to become as important for everyone as it is for us. And so please support us. Go onto the QR code, bid for whatever you can, donate if you can, or go to communitypayitforward.us, find a partner that you need, find a giving partner that you need, shop with them. They'll give us the money and say, hey, put that towards the community mission to serve our veterans. And we'll do that. And you'll be supporting 9 different organizations throughout the country. Joining me now, great friend of mine. Jeff and I have been talking for, about a week on this because I found out about it a couple weeks ago, and then all of a sudden, I just remembered it. But Jeff, you and I, we got together because all of a sudden I remembered, hey, it's brain injury month coming up in March. It's a good thing to remember, but it's hard to remember when you got a brain injury. little lighthearted joke there, folks.
Zach, so, I always say, the memory is the second thing to go, right? It's the second thing. And people say, oh, what's the first? I say, I don't know. I forgot that years ago.
Yeah. I can't remember.
You got to make it. You got to make it fun, or it's just going to depress you. You know what I always tell people, that I can blame a lot of things on the accident and on the brain injury. But the truth is, Jeff, I was never that smart to begin with. So, I mean, I can blame the accident all I want, but I got other reasons why I can't remember things. I totally get it. Yeah.
You and I, why don't you first tell us a little bit about Hydro with Hope? Tell us about your program and who you try to help.
Okay, thank you, man. This is going to be cool. I'm so glad you remembered. You remembered it, so I'm glad, because this is going to be great. So Hydro with Hope was born out of a need that I saw in the hydrocephalus community for more tangible help, more like practical boots on the ground, sitting with families kind of help. There's so many amazing organizations out there, national, local, organizations, some big, some small. They're doing so many amazing things. They're doing fundraising. They're doing development of devices and things to help in surgery and all the things. And that's just not my bag. I'm not that smart. I don't know anything about the surgical aspect of it. I'm not a designer of these devices. Fundraising, great. You're doing a great job. Keep up the good work. I wanted to have something that I could, meet a family that just found out their kid is going to have brain surgery for the first time, and be able to sit with them, answer their questions, give them a tangible resource so that they could, use it right then. And that's our thing, is resources. So.
And Jeff, you were born with a brain injury. I want you to go on ahead and explain it, because if I try to explain it, I'll screw it up. So I'm going to let you do that part.
That's all good. That's all right. No, cool. So I was born with a condition called hydrocephalus, which is commonly kind of affectionately known as water on the brain. When I say hydrocephalus, people go, what? And I say water on the brain. They go, oh yeah, that makes sense. It's a very, very common thing. My case, I was born with I had a blockage in one of my ventricles. Everybody has ventricles in their brain up here that are, your brain is always producing cerebral spinal fluid, and normally it'll just drain down those ventricles and go down your spinal column and reabsorb into your system, and everything's cool. None's the wiser. Me, I had one of those ventricles that was blocked, and so it did not let the fluid flow as freely as it should have. And so my brain started to collect this fluid around it, and which can be dangerous. It can cause brain damage. It can swell the skull when they're little like that. The skull's still pliable, and eventually it could give you brain damage and could eventually kill you if you don't catch it in time. And so thankfully they caught it at 2 weeks old. I had my first brain surgery at 2 weeks old, and I've had 6 more since then, 7 total. And in in one of the follow-up appointments with the neurosurgeon a few years ago for one of them, my wife and I were sitting in a room and just heard this conversation happening, next to us. And I thought, wow, I wonder if that person has hydrocephalus, right? Because it's really common. By the way, it's super common. It affects like 400,000. There's like 400,000 plus babies born with it every single year. It's ridiculous. And so I was thinking, what's going on there? And I thought to myself, I wonder if they're finding out that their kid's going to have brain surgery. So I thought, man, if only we could help, right? If there's only something we could do to help. And so that's where Hydro with Hope came from, and it's a big deal. It's a big need because hydrocephalus, number one, it's invisible. So most people don't know you have it if you have it, unless you have other co-conditions with it that are more visible. And number two, it's just because it's invisible, it feels like it's all in your head sometimes, right? And so it's just tough. It's tough, and so people need help, and so that's what we're here for. So,
And the books that you've created,
yeah,
the books you've created, they have a wonderful and look, I think that these books could serve multiple uses.
Yeah.
Well, as we get older, to be honest with you, as we get older, we need to kind of write stuff down and trying to remember, the things that I have the biggest problems with are when somebody asks me, what prescriptions are you on? I'm like, oh, no.
How long do you
First
have?
off, I can't. Yeah. First off, I can't pronounce most of them,
Right.
and secondly, it's like, no, I'm on aspirin.
Yeah.
So, but tell us
Yeah.
about your book, because I really do. I think that while your book is wonderful because it's you created it for the reason you created it, I think your book can really help out people in many ways.
Honestly, yeah. And if you don't have hydrocephalus, I mean, I would say if it's anything that affects your memory, just get a journal, man. Get a journal, write stuff down when you go to your follow-up with your neurosurgeon, or you go to your doctor's appointment, or you go to your whatever. I just write it down, man. Write it down. I have since I was in elementary school, I've been writing stuff down, shoving little scraps of paper in my pocket, writing stuff down to remember to do, and as technology has improved, I have less, giant pieces of paper shoved in my pocket. There's lovely devices that have, notes apps and things that have thousands and thousands of notes on there. So, but yeah, just write it down. I mean, this book is great, but if you don't feel like this book is your thing, just get a journal, man. Write stuff down. But this, yeah, so we created this specifically for people with hydrocephalus. But like you said, I mean, it applies to a lot of conditions. If you have memory issues, this is great. So this book is, I mean, I'll just show you the first page is, that it starts off, my name is this, helping me write my story is this person. If somebody's helping you, if you're a kid, if you're like 5, and then here's a picture, you can draw it in there. You could print one off, put it there, whatever. And the coolest thing is I've got quotes in here from other hydro warriors that are living and thriving with hydrocephalus. And so that's kind of cool. And then we've got sections in here for keeping track of, surgeries and where you had them and just all the things. Take a picture of your hair after you woke up from surgery. It's good stuff. And so we're super excited about this book. It's very thorough. It's 150 pages, man. It's got a lot of stuff in here. You got plenty of room to, take notes, document things, emotional download. This can be emotional if it's your child that's having this brain surgery. I can't imagine what my parents were going through. I can't even imagine. If they had something like this, I wonder if that would have helped, so yeah, we're super excited about it. We'd love to come up. We're maybe down the road, we're thinking of doing different versions, maybe a caretaker version, maybe a, sibling version, or like, hey, my brother or sister has had brain surgery. Here's what I've gone through in the midst of it, or a parent or a, whatever. We're still planning that, but I don't know. It just seems like it'd be valuable.
Yeah. And you've also, something that seems very, very minor, you've also left a little spot for people to date it. That way, when you have multiple books, you can just go by the date.
Exactly.
Remembering
Yep.
what a doctor says is very difficult.
Pronouncing what a doctor says can be difficult sometimes.
Yep. So, they do talk their own language. Jeff,
That's for sure.
yeah, I had blood on the brain. I had TBI. I had all these other things. You deal with hydrocephalus. Brain injuries are very important to both of us. With March coming up, as Brain Injury Awareness Month,
Yep.
I called you and I said, you know what? Let's do something. Let's talk about brain injuries. Let's do for brain injuries what we're trying to do with everything else. Let's find solutions for people with brain injuries, because there are so many misnomers, and and two, brain injuries are really hard to understand. And what I often tell people is, Jeff, if you break your arm and I break my arm on the same day, we're going to go in, they're going to splint and wrap our arms, both of us. My wife, if she breaks her arm, they're going to, they're going to do the same thing for her. That's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
The brain injury happens. There's
It's a mystery.
There's no two ways of healing it. It's different for everyone. The reactions are going to be different. Jeff, I tell people all the time, and this is hard. Believe it or not, this is very hard for me to say. Yeah. That I went to a brain injury group at one point in time, and I was looking at people who had no functions or limited functions of their body.
Yeah.
And when it came my turn, I felt like a fool, because I was like, look, my problem is that I have migraine headaches every minute of every day. And they looked at me like they were just like, oh my God, that would be terrible. And I'm like, you can't walk. And,
right.
Yeah. And it's just, you always look at your situation like it's like, hey, you know what, I could be that person or something like that. Yet when we were on the show last, you were talking about there's got to be times when the wife and kids see that something's going on, and all of a sudden everybody just starts going, back away, let them rest. They've got it, and these are things that we'd like to get. I've had episodes in a store where I was standing in an aisle, leaned up against a cooler, and they told me that I had been standing there for about 35-40 minutes, and I didn't know it. And these are just things that happen, and it would be nice for people to realize that well, there's some wackadoo that's just, there might be an issue there. And so trying to tell people about the many different things that can be going on. You and I have decided to go on ahead and talk a little bit each week about what's going on in the life of the brain injury.
Yeah, I'm totally excited about it, man. This has got to get out there. I totally agree. I'm so glad that you called me to ask me about this, because I think this is perfect. This is going to be great. Yeah, I can't wait.
Jeff, tell us about your show, and about your TV show that you've got going on, and what kind of guests are you looking for?
Man, thank you. I host a TV show that airs on E360 TV, which is an online TV network. And you just go to e360tv.com, and then, TV has channels, right? So our channel is Achieve TV, and then you can find our show on there. And we have a show go on the air every Tuesday and every Friday at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. And so Tuesdays and Fridays at 10 a.m. Mountain Time, you can find a show. And we we call it invisible condition because we wanted to, as hydrocephalus is an invisible condition in the sense that you would never see me walking down the street and be able to say, hey, by your appearance, I can tell what you have. You've had several brain surgeries, haven't you? It's invisible, right?
Your arm's missing.
You're right. Yeah.
You've got a brain injury.
Yeah. Not like you're missing a leg, Yeah. So when it's invisible, it's tough. So that's who we have on the show. We have people come on the show. They tell their story. They, a lot of them, a lot like you, have done amazing things in spite of what has happened to you in the invisible condition realm. And you are kicking butt and taking names anyway. And you're doing amazing things for the community, or some people have launched an app. Some people have written books. Some people have started foundations based on what they've experienced, and they're spreading the word, whatever it is. I want you to come on and tell your story. And we've got an hour to do it. And it goes like that, but it's really fun. And then we have organizations from, local to national to around the world that come on and talk about how they're helping that invisible condition community thrive, and it's just been phenomenal. I feel like I've got like a golden Rolodex of, of all these. I didn't even mean to, but I find myself on these calls with people, even talking to them about being on the show. And in the time that we are on the show or on the call for half an hour, I'll think of half a dozen resources I want to point in their direction, because we've talked to so many amazing people that can do so many cool things for people. So it's kind of been fun. Yeah. So,
yeah. Well, I think it's kind of funny. I have joined the Achieve program. Matter of fact, I'm going to be in Denver on the 7th and 8th of next month.
Get out. Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
All right.
I'm going to be there for the Achieve Academy. And the first, one of my partners, Gene Gustafson, was sitting next to Achieve TV. And
is that how you heard about it, for Gene?
No. But okay. I actually heard about it through you. But she said,
that's right.
I've got somebody who you would be a perfect guest on your show. And I'm like, Jeff Pearson. And she goes, yeah. And I go, been there.
I love Gene's cool. I know Gene. Yeah, that's why I was asking.
Been there twice, done that. So,
right? Done.
But
yeah.
So
that's cool.
Yeah. So what we're going to ask of everyone right now, if you know somebody who's had a battle with a brain injury, if you know somebody who has fought or helped people through brain injuries or something like that, please have them reach out to myself at communitypayitforward.us, communitypayitforward.us. And I will do that. Janet wants me to connect you with her. She runs. She's a huge part of Healing Warriors. And look at that. Yep, Will Black. There's another name.
I love that guy. I was just gonna say he's the coolest. I just saw him like last month. That was great. Yeah. I love
Will. Actually, you know what? You probably saw him at the same place where I saw her, and we probably just missed each other at that hotel.
You weren't at the conference, were you?
I wasn't at the conference. I went to the networking thing. I went to the business thing on the Friday.
Okay.
Where they had all the booths and everything. But, I missed.
Man, I wish I would have come now. I didn't know you went. We were only able to go that Saturday. So we didn't, normally we would go Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but yeah, we were just there for Saturday. So we did miss each other. Dang. Okay. All right. Next time. All right.
Yep. Well, you know what? Like I said, I'm going to be there on the 7th and 8th. I'm going to stay up in Denver overnight, just to try to, with a brain injury, you make sure that you're not doing too much moving around. So that's what I'm going to be doing.
Talk to me about Achieve University before you go, man, because I'm telling you, it's going to blow your mind out the back of your head. Literally, it is 2 days of nonstop taking a drink from a fire hose. So it's hardcore. It's awesome, but it's gonna rock your world. So
they better have Diet Pepsi in that hose. I don't do that water stuff. That water stuff's weird. So
but if you
tap
an IV. You know, just
Yeah, there you go. So, but please, if you have any information, or you know somebody who's dealt with brain injuries, or would just like to come on and even ask questions, please get a hold of us. We'd love to talk to you a little bit. If you have somebody who's going through a brain injury and you have some questions, Jeff and I can answer the questions in the way that we understand it with ourselves. Okay.
Yep.
Neither one of us will ever say we know how you feel, because no, we don't. Okay. Every brain injury is different. And that's the one thing that is for sure. Every brain injury is different. But we can tell you in our experiences what has happened. And let's make March really about learning about this, because like I said, this isn't just a throw a band-aid on it and it'll be fine eventually. Look, brain injuries can be very, very serious.
Yeah.
They also don't have to ruin your life. You're looking at two people who didn't let it ruin their lives. So I'm going to ruin a dog's life here in a minute, but
I was thinking you are very composed right now with that dog in the background. I usually see you jump out of your chair and go run over to him and kick him out of the room.
Yeah. Well, and now I've got all three of them down here. The wife went to the store, so now we got all.
Oh, there he goes. Hello.
There's one of them. Yeah. There's baby girl, and now here we go.
There we go.
Talking,
everybody wants.
Here comes.
Everybody wants to play.
So, but hey, Jeff, I want to thank you very much, and let's do this, my friend.
Yeah, man.
Let's get people to come on and join us. What we're going to do is there might be some pop-up episodes. If we have something that we can talk about or something, we may just pop them up. If not, there's going to be like the second half of the Wednesdays every show. We're probably going to have something on about a brain injury for the next month. But let's talk about this, and let's really try to help out people. That's what we're here for. We got wonderful people. Janet, again, I will introduce you to Jeff. But this is
100%.
Look, this is something that all of us have dealt with somebody at some point in time who's hit their head on something, or it's a completely different life. I'm telling you right now.
It is.
But and we just want to be there to answer any questions and let you know that a lot of times, and this is one thing that this is another thing I'll tell you, and Jeff, you can attest to this. There's a lot of times when people will be trying to help somebody with a brain injury, and that person with the brain injury isn't reacting the way that you're used to them reacting, and you get mad at yourself because you don't think you're doing the right thing. I'm here to tell you right now, you're doing the right thing. You need to understand it's kind of like being in a car at times where you know how the car feels like it's moving backwards and you smash on the brakes because you think you're moving backwards, but it's the other car that's inching forward. There's a lot of times that the brain feels like that, and the person just can't figure it out. So if you've got questions about this, please come on, talk to us. We'll not directly say, this is what you should do. We'll tell you, this is what we've experienced, and we'll try to help you through it. We'll also try to help you find people that Jeff and I have talked to in past episodes or whatever, who might be able to help you through different things.
Sure.
Look, head injuries are like they're like depression. They're like everything else. There's not just the one person who's injured. It injures everyone around because you're learning to live with a different person. And so, this is truly, it's a blessing that I got to know you, and we've gotten to be friends, and I'm really excited about this next little joint venture that we're doing. And I think that we're going to be able to do some wonderful things here for people. So please, Zach, it's ZAK at Community Pay It Forward, ZAK at Community Pay It Forward. If you need any help, please, or if you want to talk to us, hey, look at this. or you can go to Jeff at Hydro with Hope.
Hey,
Look at that.
there it is.
So
Love it.
yeah. So, but go to and reach out to him, and we will get you on here as soon as we possibly can. So, females, ladies, if you want to know a little something about brain injuries, a great resource for you, we'll tell you right now, is our friend Stephanie at the Aziza Project. Okay, she has got a lot of stuff that she's had to deal with, but she is a wealth of knowledge who can help you out as well. So, and once again, we understand that, we encourage you to come and talk to us, but if you're more comfortable with talking to a female, please reach out to Stephanie. Stephanie is a dear friend of both of ours. And I think that she can really help you and in your situation. So, but I'm just about done for the day. We've run a little bit over, but I do have something I would like to invite you all to. Tomorrow, as we did last Thursday at the noon hour here in Mountain, we're going to be joining the Brainy Brunch Networking. It's absolutely free to join. And there you go. Just write that link down and hit that link. I'm joking. It's bannered right there. All you got to do is go and click on that. If you want to join us, it's a different kind of networking. And it's, look, Rock has worked really hard on this, David Rocky. It's a nationwide thing. There's a lot of good people, and let's get on the ground level of the Brainy Brunch. We can get together and imagine that, the name of the show, Brainy Brunch. And here we are talking about it. I just put that together because, I'm smart like that. But just put that together. So, but join us tomorrow at 2 p.m. East or noon here in the Mountain Time for some free networking. Let's get together. Let's get some words out there. Let's encourage each other as business people to continue our missions of helping people. So it's a look, nobody can do this alone. This isn't a solo job. This is us all trying to work together to do great things. Jeff, I want to thank you one more time, brother, for joining me on this. I'm really excited about this, and I think that we're going to be able to do some fun things. So
this is going to be awesome. Yeah, I so appreciate you reaching out. This is going to be great. It's going to be so cool.
Not a
problem.
Not a problem. We'll talk to you next week. All right.
Sounds good, man.
All right. That's Jeff Pearson with Hydro with Hope. I always do that. I always mess up his name. Not his name, but his organization's name. That's going to be it for me. I am going to start at the top of the hour. I'm going to start the portion with Stephanie Samos, the goddess of the grape. Why are you biting me? What is that all about? Are you sure you want this dog, Janet? I'm going to turn him into horse food here in a minute. But anyway, we are going to, I'm going to start the episode with Stephanie Samos at the top of the hour. And once again, this is another way that you can support all of the organizations involved with the community mission to serve our veterans. Buy a bottle of wine. He wants his 15 seconds of fame too. Yeah. He's been getting it all day long. You hear him barking in the background, but all you have to do is go on to our Facebook page. It's Community Pay It Forward One Hope Wine fundraiser, and scan your QR code. You can support wonderful organizations that we are supporting with the community mission to serve our veterans, including Healing Warriors, Veterans Honoring Veterans, Dogs and Tags, and I'm going to miss some of these, Rescue Resident, Empower Women Veterans, I can see it in my head and I'm messing up already. So see, I knew I was going to do this. But the Price of Freedom Foundation, Community Dare to Care, and Combat Rescue. Look, please make sure that you love somebody out there because somebody out here loves you. Okay? I beg of you, if you're not helping someone, you're hurting everyone. No one needs to go it alone when we all come together. Okay? If you've got extra clothing, and especially since the weather is so goofy right now, if you have an extra hoodie, put that hoodie in your car, give it to somebody who's battling with the elements. You make a little too much dinner one night, put it in the old hillbilly Tupperware, heat it up in the microwave, and give it to someone that you know is hungry. Helping people is not hard to do, but it means the world to somebody out there who you help. Just remember that. Helping people does not mean you're spending money all the time. Spreading the word of these wonderful programs is the best way to help. So my name is Zach Clayton, Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the pACT channel, asking you to please join us if you've got something to say. Next week, I will have a QR code that you can go to if you want to be a guest on the pACT channels, anywhere on the pACT channels. Do you have a podcast that you would like to have right here on the pACT channel? Would you like to spread your word of good things that are going on in the community? We'd love to have you. All we ask is that you do good in the community and you try to help people. No politics, no hate. We don't need that stuff. And we can fight against it. Well, we can't fight against politics, but, they fight with themselves enough. We don't need to help them there. But look, we can all do this when we all come together. Please take care of each other because we're all we got. Until next week, once again, my name is Zach Clayton. Thank you. Love you all. Bye.
Stepping out of her fear, bring me home. Out alone, show me the way. You wanna be a part of Sunset Boulevard.